大家好，欢迎收看今天的节目。那为了今天的节目，我特意请来了一位长笛大咖。这个人呢，是我在之前的节目里曾经特别高频的提及，并且是我个人非常欣赏的一位青年长笛演奏家。那他呢，也是现在活跃在世界舞台上的一位长笛新星 Mario Bruno。那 Mario 在他24岁的时候就已经成为德国 A 级交响乐团 Kassel 交响乐团的长笛首席了。那除此之外，他还斩获多个对于长笛来说极具影响力的国际大奖，像是神户啊、ARD 啊，包括今年的日内瓦大奖。我非常有幸可以请到他来跟大家聊一聊。那这期节目呢，会分为上下两个部分。那第一部分呢，我会请 Mario 跟大家分享一下他作为一个职业的长笛演奏家，作为一个 A 级交响乐团的乐手，他在之前去考试或者之前去参加比赛的时候，他是怎么样准备他的这些作品，还有他个人对于他自己艺术表达的一些看法。那第二部分呢，就是帮大家解决一些在演奏上会高频提出的一些长笛的问题，看看他会怎么样去解答这些问题。先提前跟大家透露，视频里面会有 Mario 示范的片段，千万不要错过。Okay, so hello Mario, it's a pleasure to chat with you today, and I know you're super
Pleasure is
busy.
mine.
Yeah, so really thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. You're welcome.
Yeah, you know what? Before we get started, I really want to say I really love your playing and the way your interpretation of each piece bring a sense of relaxation is really truly impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I try to be relaxed as possible.
Yeah, but to start off, I'm just curious. Besides of playing flute, what's your go-to activity when you are not playing flute?
Well, there's not a lot of time where I'm not playing flute or practicing, but generally I just read or I do things related to music in any case, like I'm studying about some composers that I'm interested to, or I'm transcribing some pieces that I will like to play in the future. This kind of stuff. Basically, it's always kind of music related, or I'm reading mostly.
Okay. Have you ever noticed any physical tension while practicing? Because it's common for the musician to experience some tension during the practice, right? How do you deal with it if it happens to you?
Sometimes, yes. When I'm practicing too long, it happens that I might have some pain in the hand here, basically, mostly on this part here. But it's not a thing that it's happening so much anymore. Maybe when I was younger, when I was practicing and I was a bit more tense, also in the shoulders, in the neck. But with time, it got away. And also playing in the orchestra helps a lot because you need to be relaxed. And then you notice in the end that when you want a relaxed sound and something that is mixing well, you need to be relaxed yourself because the sound is not in the flute, it's here on how you play. So yeah, mostly playing in the orchestra, it was super helpful because now I know how I can be relaxed.
Okay. Do you ever feel nervous before going on stage? But how you handle that?
I feel a lot nervous.
Really?
Not so much with concerts. With concerts, I got used to it, and in the end, you're just doing something that, like the idea of the concert, it's something that it's happening in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that going to a concert is better than to listen to a recording. I think they are two different things.
Yeah.
They are completely different. So when you have the recording, you have some fixed thing that you can always go to. When you go to a concert, exactly, like it's how it's related in time. In the recording, I can also go back and I can always have the same thing. In the concert, it's like something that's happening in the moment. So it's, of course, problems can happen, but that's the whole point. It's just trying and take risks and just presenting yourself as you are.
But I was really impressed with the semifinals piece you've been choosing. What was your thought process in choosing the piece for the semifinal of the Geneva competition? Because it was really impressive me. You choose
chemin du cœur. You know, those, it's really hard to open as a concert or recital or anything like this kind of piece, because it's really calm opening and long phrasing. If you are really anxiety during that time, you will, I mean, right?
The choice of the pieces for the solo recital in Geneva, it was, I had this idea of this concert program already since a bit of time. I changed a little bit because then I found this manuscript, the last piece I played, this manuscript of Chelsea, so I had to change some pieces, but the main idea is just to play some music which is somehow deep in the attitude that the composers were using in writing the music. And it's completely different composers, it's like Chelsea, Bach, Schubert, okay, but there is this underlying kind of depth in the music, kind of soul deep music. And I really didn't want to play anything extremely virtuosic or extremely show off, which is a big chunk of the repertoire of flute. I mean, the whole opera fantasies part, like the whole 1800s, mainly we have a lot of pieces that are quite presenting the virtuosity of the musician. But it's just, I didn't want to do it in this way. I wanted to have this really calm beginning and then going into some deep approach to music. And yes, it's not easy to begin with a slow piece, but of course I am anxious before going on the stage, but I try my best to not show the anxiety when I play and when I am on the stage. Then I don't manage 100%. I was taking double of the breaths that I usually take in the chemin du cœur, for example, but it's always a compromise.
I feel it's really challenging because compared with the other competitors, candidate, they choose much more like really layers. I mean, in regular piece, it's not like you, like they are trying to show off like, okay, beginning maybe slightly peaceful and upper and drive it down, something like that. But you goes to another way. But for competition, you really take your risks because it will in fact probably the jury getting the result.
It's a risk, I know, but we have like the semi-final. Anyways, there were virtuoso pieces in the chamber music part. So there's Chandelinos. There was the commissioned piece with the clarinet and the piano, and then in the final there is Ibert. So when there is, if the jury wanted to see some more virtuoso things, they also could see it in these other pieces. And this was a free choice program, solo recital. I just wanted to play music that I really like, and a concert program that I really think it's working. I could have done it differently. I could have changed to one of these pieces and I could have put some more virtuoso stuff, or some not necessarily virtuoso. I'm not speaking necessarily about an opera fantasy, but I could have put, I don't know, Prokofiev sonata, where you have still a lot of music and a lot of stuff, but it's also quite technical in some places. But it was not my approach with the it's a risk, but why not take risks? I mean,
the version that you played, the Chandelino, it was my favorite version, to be honest, really.
Well, yeah, Chandelinos, I played it since I'm playing this piece since years. So I really know the piece and I practiced really a lot in the past years, and I played it many times. So in the end, when you start to practice, when you practice one piece for many concerts and you practice it all over and over, then it kind of gets also automatic, like some muscle memory in the fingers.
Okay. First is, you say you practice a lot. I mean, in last interview with the Geneva, how long time you practice per day?
No, per day, usually I might practice 2 to 3 hours, but for the competition, since I had a lot of things to do in September, in October, I had some concerts in Italy. I gave a masterclass. Then I had this Jolivet concerto, 4 concerts in the Netherlands, and I have the job in the orchestra. And I had to practice a lot of repertoire. I was, let's say, practicing around 8 hours per day.
My
plus
God.
the orchestra work. Sometimes I was going in the theater at 7 in the morning, and I was practicing until 9:30. Then I was having rehearsal until 12. Lunch for half an hour. Then I was practicing until 18:30. Then I was having the rehearsal in the evening, and then I was coming home and I was dead. but I had to do it. There was a lot of program, and on top of the competition program, I had these other concerts that I had to do. So it was just for a couple of months, but I really had to be
accurate, right?
Accurate, yes.
Okay, it's actually bring out another question. In general, people like to forcing the sounding to make it bigger or to make it something really loud. But for me, I don't really believe in that, because I think the soundings expression like this, like a circle, not really only on this direction. But have you ever met this kind of problem in orchestra, like the other genres say, okay, maybe your sounding is too small, you have to bring out your sounding?
I had this problem, and this actual problem, because of course sometimes it still happens to me. I try not to push my sound, but sometimes it happens when you have to play forte and you're not super in shape or a bit tired, and then just automatically you try to blow more and to force it. And I had this exact problem when I started in the orchestra, because it was right after COVID. We were playing with some big distancing between the players, and we were on the stage. It's an opera theater, but we were not playing in the pit. We were on the stage because of the distancing. And we had to play louder because we had to play from the stage, from back to the stage, to the end of the concert hall. So I was pushing a lot, and I was asking them feedbacks from colleagues, because it was my trial year and I wanted to know what to fix. And they were telling me that actually I'm just pushing too much and it's not quite hearable. Then I trusted the feedback and not my feeling, and I tried to relax and play in a way that here it sounds maybe less loud. And the feedback I got is that it was actually going better outside. Because it's when you push too much, you kind of compress everything. It's like if you want to speak, but you try to close your neck,
of course.
Then the voice
begin to tension here, right? Your upper body.
No, but in any whatever you want to do, it's like if you squeeze it, then there's no way to let it go. And it's counterintuitive. Like here it sounds not really so loud, but then they tell me that it's sometimes they were asking me to play. So
okay, so back to the competition things. Could you offer some advice for other flute players on selecting the piece for the competition?
Play what you like. Play what you like and play what you can do good. So this is what I did. Like for the solo recital, I played things that I like, that I had never played before in concert, but that I really liked and I wanted to prepare. For the chamber music, for example, for the Baroque sonata, I already knew this Platti sonata and I already played it a couple of times. I never actually practiced it really well like I did for the competition, because then I took the score and I really went into it and I really understood what I want to do. But I knew the sonata already. I already played it a couple of times in some smaller concerts in some festival. I played it once in Italy and once in not small, they are festivals, but like a concert in a festival with a lot of artists, it's not like one of the biggest competitions in the world. It has a different weight. And so I played it there already a couple of times. I liked the piece, I knew it, and I went for it. And in the finale, same thing. There was the Nielsen concerto, which I never practiced. I would have never chosen Nielsen concerto. I could have chosen Dalbavie or Ribert. I decided to go to some more repertoire. concert. Even though I loved Alba B Concerto, and I was really glad to be able to play it in ARD. But it was both concerts that I already know. So this is the best thing. Do some things that you know already, so you can just practice it better, but not from starting from new. Or if you have to choose something that you never practice, then choose the thing that you like the most.
Understand. So choose the things that makes you comfortable, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So
play as comfortable as you are.
As a principal solist of Kassel Symphony Orchestra, so how far in advance do you start preparing for orchestra audition? Like, how often do you practice the orchestra excerpts?
I don't practice it anymore because I'm not doing auditions right now. But when I was doing auditions, how often in advance? As soon as possible. I mean, I started to have lessons and I was already playing at lesson excerpts just to have them, because there is the usual stuff that they ask in the competition, in the auditions, like Mendelssohn, Daphne, Prelude, Brahms, all these are like standard kind of. So it's always good to practice it and to have it. And then I was applying to different auditions, and as soon as I was getting the invitation and I was seeing the program, I was starting to practice it. And then I do the audition. I start already with the next audition program. I was always every day basically keeping it fresh.
Okay. For the current job market, what's the additional skills do you think are important for the musicians?
In the audition, you need to really, it's not a nice thing to say, but you have to try to be as perfect as you can. Not because mistakes are not allowed. Mistakes are allowed, but you really have to switch completely style and piece in one moment, and then you have to play like you're playing in the orchestra. Like if you know the music, you have to know the music. And basically you just have to try to show that you can have a nice legato, nice staccato, nice sound, good dynamics, not taking too many risks. I love to take risks, but not in audition. In audition you just play, because it's not so much showing all the ideas that you can have musically, but it's just to play some nice music, but to show what's your value as a flutist on the technical side and on the musical side. Then you can take all the risks and you can have all the ideas that you want after you are there, and you can speak with the colleagues and you can speak with the conductor. But in the 5 minutes that you play in the audition, it's like a card, when you give the card with your name and your number.
What do you see as your mission as a musician and artist in today's society?
I just want to play the music that I like as I like, because that's the point of sharing music. I don't need to share music if it's something that it's played in the same way always, but which I don't like, or if it's something that it's so much in the repertoire but that I don't like. I did all these competitions and all these studying years and all these things just to arrive at a point in which I can finally choose my program for the recital, and I can put some music that I'm interested in playing and in exploring it, in doing it. I think music should really be first and most, at least for me, first and most, it's something between the music and me, and what it's shared with the public. It's not that I am sharing the music with the public. I am sharing my relation with the composer and with the music with the public. So the public is actually, like, whoever listens should not be expecting the music, should expect
what you want to say.
Between me and not me, Mario Bruno, me, every musician. Okay, if I just go there and I throw the music in your face, I don't think there is nothing special. There is nothing over the matter, over the earth. There is no upper layer. The upper layer is when I have this communication with the music.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it's not me on the stage playing, but it's just how this music went through me and what's happening between the piece of music and me. And this is what you're seeing. It's like when you go to see some performance art thing, you don't see a painting, you see the performance, and that's the thing that it's been shared. And just I'm kind of a filter for what I'm playing, and that's why I chose, for example, this program in Geneva, because it's some music that I can have this relationship with. If I have to play some opera fantasies, I love opera fantasies, but they have a different meaning, a different purpose.
Mm-hmm. So the next part is playing technical questions.